Hey everyone, welcome back to more reading with The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. Tonight is chapter 11 and it's Mastering the Slight Edge. And he says, oddly enough, we should be quite familiar with this mastery, but we've actually forgotten it. And he defines mastery not as the end goal, but he says mastery is a mindset and it begins at the very beginning. You obtain mastery at the beginning of your journey and not at the end. And he says we used to have this perfect mindset of mastery when we were babies, when we wanted to walk. We didn't care about all the failure, we just wanted to walk. And we would do everything and anything and keep walking until we got it. And babies do that for everything that we do. And in this entire chapter, he compares moving on the slight edge and obtaining this mastery with babies taking their first step and learning how to walk. And that their mastery was with their mind set and not with the end goal. And further on, he says, the problem is we forget. And we forget because of the 40,000 no's versus the 5,000 yeses. Sadly, that mindset of mastery of the slight edge is beaten out of us at a young age and by society in general. Like, we're all negative thinkers. And so that's the first part, in that we used to be masters of the slight edge, but it was beaten out of us when we were young, not physically, but more mentally and emotionally, simply because of how many no's we receive when we're babies. And then there's the second part. The second part he describes as wanting. And he ties it back to the previous chapter that I didn't really go over because I didn't have much time. Which, honestly, back to this, is like, you're not going to get the full amount out of the book from these videos. You have to read them. You can't get the full experience if you're just listening. You have to read them, not these little 5-10 minute excerpts. But in the last chapter, he says, and he has us compare each section of our life and whether we're moving in the slight edge in an upward curve like the 5% or in a downward curve like the 95%. And so he has us compare our life areas of health, happiness, friendship and relationships, personal development, finances, career, and your positive impact on the world. And this leads into this chapter, in that part of mastery, he compares it to Napoleon Hill's quote, which is a really good quote in Think and Grow Rich. If I can get it here, it says, "The one quality which one must possess to win, and that is the definiteness of purpose, the knowledge of what one wants, and the burning desire to possess it." So part of this mastery of the slight edge that we had as a baby is that we wanted something. And he says want has two parts to it. The old definition of wanting, this can refocus. Oh well. The old definition of wanting was that we lacked something. Now we define wanting as we want something, but actually the two definitions coincide. And it's what creates a lot of conflict when we have a big dream and we want to obtain something. Is that wanting is you want what you lack, but it comes with recognizing that you lack what you want. And so, although wanting something can be a great burning desire with you, as Napoleon Hill describes, what happens, he says, is when you share that with somebody else, sometimes you may remind them of that they lack what they want. And so often what happens is we are all excited and we share it with all the people that we love, and then out of self-defense, subconsciously, mind you, they attack. They say, oh, don't go for that, that's never possible. And they do that to subconsciously defend themselves, because what you just did is you reminded them of what they lack. And what we need to understand is wanting something comes with the recognition that we don't have what we want. And it can be uncomfortable. But by being uncomfortable, we can obtain great things. And that goes back to the child. The child just remembers, oh, I want to walk. And they don't think about all the little things that has to do with walking. They just think about walking. They focus on what they want. And that's what we need to remember. That's what we need to remember. We need to recognize again that we can obtain whatever we want, just as we were when we were a baby. It's the same mindset. It's the same way we obtain it. It's the same slight edge, but it's just being able to be comfortable and recognizing that we lack something, and then have that burning desire to obtain it. And like for me, and the best, and so it is. So that goes back to comparing. Compare your health. Are you where you want to be with health? Are you where you want to be with your finances, with your happiness? Like, are we really as happy as we want to be? Do we have the friendships that we want? Do we have the career or money that we want? Are we financially secure for the future? And those different things. If we first assess that, then we can find something that we lack. And that gives us a point A where we are and a point B of where we want to be. And that creates a little bit of tension because it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to recognize that we don't have what we want, that we lack. But that can then give us that burning desire to obtain what we want. And if we go back and we try and remember and recognize that, yeah, we were beaten out of the mastery mindset with all the 40,000 no's and all the negativity in the world, and maybe we had terrible parents or terrible friendships or moved a lot. I don't know, there's so many things that can make us start to lack in faith and what we can do. But we can do it. I know I can do it. Like for me, I'm not as strong as I used to be. So that's something that I can work towards. But in order to get from point A to point B of where I used to be in strength, endurance, and just health in general, I used to be fit. And that was because we worked so much at home. Like we did yard work all the time growing up. It was ridiculous. But that's something that I want. I want to be healthy like that again. And I'm not going to I don't have the yard work or the projects or the time to do as much time as we had then, because you have more time as a kid. But that doesn't mean I have the right amount of time now. I can walk for 30 minutes a day, and that can get me started. And then I can start exercising for 30 minutes a day, doing bodyweight 44 or whatever I choose to do. That's something that I can do. And I'm already looking at other things that I lack and moving towards it, like I'm putting aside that money every single paycheck. That's already automatic. That's out of my mind. And so I'm starting to do those little things. But I think the next step for me, now that I'm already doing those happy habits with my wife, is the next step is I need to go forward and I need to start exercising like I should. I need to keep my heart healthy. I have a heart condition. I need to take care of that. And so what I lack is the health that I used to have. Right now, I'm not as healthy as I used to be. I don't have the same endurance, and it's really annoying. I need to obtain that. I want that. I recognize that I lack the same stuff that I used to have. And that's what I'm going to go for. So that's the next step. And I guess mastery is recognizing that it's okay to fail. The babies, they don't care about slipping, falling, and they crash. They have more failure than anybody else, in all honesty, when learning how to walk. They have more failure than you or I. But they just keep doing it. They don't care. They just want to walk. And they're going to go for it. And so that's what I'm going to go for. So the next step, learn how to walk. Master that. And like he says, mastery is the mindset that you have at the beginning. You obtain mastery at the beginning. So, I'm going to be as healthy as I used to be. And I'm going to start exercising. So, that's my next goal. Thank you everyone for joining me tonight. And I'll be back tomorrow with more reading with The Slight Edge and continuing on my path to be a millionaire. Where it takes.